What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be going over the top 10 picks of the 2012 NFL Draft and whether or not they were a hit, miss, or meh. I recently did a poll on which draft class I should do a video on, and 2012 ended up winning. If you want to say in what my videos are, be sure to vote on the polls. Remember, these are just my opinions, so if yours differ, let me know in the comments down below, and enjoy. With the first overall pick in the 2012 draft, the Indianapolis Colts selected Andrew Luck, quarterback out of Stanford. Andrew Luck played a total of 6 seasons in Indianapolis after being picked first overall. Right out of the gate, Luck had a massive responsibility, and that was replacing the Hall of Famer Peyton Manning. Luck had a winning season in all 5 years, in which he played majority of the games. Luck overall went 53-33 in his career with 185 touchdowns to 103 turnovers. Luck as a draft pick, I'm going to say was a hit. Luck was outstanding as a quarterback in this league as soon as he was drafted, and his talent or play was never in question. He did sustain some injuries, and eventually right before the 2019 season, he decided to call it quits. I will not say he was a miss because he decided to retire. Everything to do with football he was fantastic at. This is just one of those careers we'll just have to say what if about, and there's a couple of them in this draft, so I'm going to say a hit for Luck. At second overall, Washington picked Robert Griffin III, quarterback out of Baylor. RG3 was one of the most electric players ever coming out of college after winning the Heisman Trophy as a dual-threat quarterback. RG3's career in the NFL went a little differently, however. After a great rookie regular season, bringing Washington to the playoffs and winning Rookie of the Year, he ended up tearing his LCL and ACL in the wildcard round. After this injury, he just was never the same quarterback, which is understandable for someone who was as mobile as he was. RG3 only played 3 seasons in Washington, where he actually eventually ended up losing his starting job to Kirk Cousins. He has a career record of 12-26 with 53 touchdowns and 42 turnovers. This one is very difficult for me as he did end up playing 8 seasons, which is a lot in the NFL. But I'm going to say a miss, however, as I know he was amazing in his first season and injuries derailed him. But he did return after the injury and just was never the same. And like I just mentioned, he only won 12 games in the NFL as a starter. If he would have never gotten injured in the playoff game, I have no doubt he would have been a hit at the second overall pick. At number 3 overall, the Cleveland Browns selected Trent Richardson, running back out of Alabama. This is the first very easy one on the list as he was a clear miss at the number 3 overall pick. Richardson only played 3 seasons in the NFL, accumulating 2,944 scrimmage yards and 19 touchdowns, while only averaging 3.3 yards a carry. Looking back on this one, it's one of the biggest misses ever at the 3rd overall pick. To only play 3 seasons is insane. Richardson, however, was signed by the Baltimore Ravens in 2016 and placed on the PUP list, then released once again for the last time in the NFL, so Richardson's a miss. 4th overall, the Minnesota Vikings chose Matt Kalil, tackle out of USC. Kalil ironically was traded for Trent Richardson before the draft as Cleveland traded up 1 spot from 4th to 3rd in fear someone would trade up and select Richardson. The Vikings traded the 3rd pick for the 4th overall, a 4th rounder, a 5th rounder, and a 7th rounder in that draft. So they obviously won that trade. Regarding Kalil's 6-year NFL career, he was a pretty decent tackle. He didn't make the 2012 All-Rookie team and the Pro Bowl that season. Other than that, he didn't do too much, and he was a starter his whole career, so I wouldn't say he was a bust. He did unfortunately only play 6 seasons, missed 1 due to injury, so I wouldn't call it a hit either. I'm going to say meh for Kalil at 4th overall. At 5, Jacksonville Jaguars selected Justin Blackmon, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State. This is another easy one as Blackmon 5th overall was a miss. Blackmon only played 2 seasons in the NFL, basically just 1, as he was suspended due to substance abuse in his sophomore season after just 4 games. In his 20 games played in the NFL, Justin accumulated 93 catches, 1,280 yards, and 6 touchdowns. He was actually having an insane first 4 games in his second season. Before being suspended, he was averaging 104 yards a game. This was the last of Blackmon in the NFL, so it's safe to say this was a big miss for 5th overall. Alright, before we move on to number 6, be sure to subscribe if you're enjoying the video so far, and also let me know who your favorite player is from the 2012 draft, or who you think is the best draft pick from this draft. At 6, the Dallas Cowboys selected Morris Claiborne, cornerback out of LSU. Claiborne ended up playing 8 seasons in the NFL, 5 for the Cowboys, 2 for the Jets, and 1 for the Chiefs, but he only started 1 game for the Chiefs. Morris's play on the field never really lived up to being picked 6 overall. He only had 1 season where he had more than 1 interception. He had 7 total over 8 seasons. He had dealt with injuries much of his career, missing about 36 games in 8 seasons. I'm going to say this was a miss, as being picked 6 overall warrants more on-the-field production than he achieved. So for Morris Claiborne, I'm going to say a miss. At 7th overall, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selected Mark Barron, defensive back out of Alabama. Mark Barron had an interesting career. He started/was drafted as a strong safety for Tampa and played that position for about 3 seasons. He didn't have too much success there, and then in his 4th season, now on the St. Louis Rams, he switched positions to linebacker and somewhat revitalized himself. In his first 2 seasons at linebacker, he had 118 tackles and 116 tackles. This didn't last long, as he did see a drop in production the following 3 seasons and was last seen in 2019. This is a tough one for me, but I'll say it was a meh pick because he did produce later on in his career, but for the Buccaneers, I'd say it was a miss because none of it was for them. At 8th overall, the Miami Dolphins selected Ryan Tannehill, quarterback out of Texas A&M. Tannehill, I'll say, was a hit. I know he isn't too great right now, or actually all time he's not too great, but he has been in the league for 10 years as a full-time starter. Tannehill has been a decent starter for 2 franchises after leaving the Dolphins after 6 seasons and joining the Titans in 2019. Tannehill has only made 1 Pro Bowl, and that was his first year in Tennessee in 2019. He has made the NFL Top 100 list in 2020, is number 68, and 2021 is number 83. Tannehill also won Comeback Player of the Year in 2019. Overall, I'm going to say this was a hit. At number 9 overall, the Carolina Panthers went with Luke Kuechly, linebacker out of Boston College. This is an absolute slam dunk of a draft pick. This is a hit. Kuechly played 8 seasons, all with Carolina. He was a monster for all 8 of these. Kuechly was a 7-time Pro Bowler, 2012 Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was on the NFL Top 100 list every year from 2013 to 2019, placing as high as 7th in 2016. He was on the Hall of Fame's All-Decade First Team for the 2010s, and even won himself a Defensive Player of the Year in 2013 in just his 2nd season. He was also First Team All-Pro each year between 2013 and 2018. Ultimately, his Hall of Fame career was cut short due to concussions. It's a shame he had these injuries. He had a chance to be one of the most decorated linebackers ever. Regardless of the length of time he played, this pick was worth it and then some. He's up there with some of the greatest Panthers ever, so hit for Luke Kuechly. Finally, at 10th overall, the Buffalo Bills chose Stephon Gilmore, defensive back out of South Carolina. Gilmore's a hit as well, as he's still in the NFL playing at a decently high level. Gilmore played 5 seasons in Buffalo, 4 in New England, 1 in Carolina, 1 in Indianapolis, and now he's on the Cowboys for the 2023 season. Gilmore had made the Pro Bowl in 2016, 18, 19, 20, and 21. He actually won Defensive Player of the Year in 2019 as well in New England. He was also on the NFL Top 100 list in 2019, 2020, and 2021, and he was as high as number 9 on those lists. Gilmore was First Team All-Pro as well in 2019. Stephon Gilmore is most certainly a hit for the Buffalo Bills. And that's going to wrap up my revisit on the 2012 NFL Draft, the top 10 picks. Once again, I did this draft class because it actually won on one of the recent polls I did. So if you want to have a say in what draft class or what my videos are based on, remember to vote on the polls. If you have a different opinion on any of the draft picks, just let me know down in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.